terms of values and implementing values and agreeing on values, the biggest challenge really for all of us is all of us acting together. And like having agreement that we all want to move in this direction instead of this direction. And there's always people who want to move in a different direction. And I think for us, that's why commerce and the way in which we consume and produce and trade is really central, because it shapes human behavior without kind of a sense of consensus. It really shapes human behavior because that's what we do in order to survive. And if we can shift the underlying mechanisms of commerce so that it really includes some of those values, we have a chance. I'd like to talk a little bit about the internet, because when it was first developed, there was a chance to really make it kind of an open source, public access. There was a lot of intention around that. And then investment capital came in and insisted that the internet be profitable in order to invest in it. And we ended up with kind of a amoral system. And it does some really amazing good things, and it does some not so good things. And I think if we can try to, in the designing stages of these new technologies, we can try to shape it as it grows in a way that serves everybody. And that's the challenge, really. That's why we started Game Changers. And we're just a drop, though. There's got to be hundreds of, thousands of companies and organizations like us.
The Pot of Gold is a podcast, Pot of Gold podcast.world, and it's part of our NGO. We started this podcast because we actually, both Mel and I, and also other people, we know so many people who work in their NGOs or they have their own projects, and they are basic game changers, right? They're really in the forefront, whatever they do, and that's sometimes not in the focus of mass media, and we really wanted to highlight those people. So we've been going around pretty much,
all over the world.
All over the world, yeah. And started asking, hey, do you want to, talk to us about what you do? And normally it's connected to economics. A lot of the themes. I mean, it's not all, but
well, it's all connected to commerce in some way or another. Basically, we'll interview people who are farmers who are engaged in sustainable farming, or talking about people who develop local currencies, or people who are afraid about deep sea mining and what that's going to happen to the oceans when we start mining for cobalt and other precious metals that will go into Tesla cars, for example. We think we're solving a problem when we're actually causing another problem. So it's a very broad podcast in terms of our scope. But I think our philosophy is kind of taken from a philosopher named Barbara Marx Hubbard. And she feels like we as humans have to reinvent who we are as human beings. And the way to do that is to connect to each other through our vision of the future. And that's what the podcast really is about, is finding people who have their vision of the future and doing what they can to make that vision come true. And so we love talking to those people and connecting other people with them. So hopefully building a network.